Welcome everybody to another exciting session of Chronicles of the Coast. It's been so long and we missed you all so much. Sitting here today, you're going to find a very different table and a very different game from some of the things that you've seen in the past. We've got some new faces. We've got a new DM right now at the head of the table. I think I'm going to do a great job. You guys will be the judge though. We'll see. Obviously, the jury's out so far, but we're going to be doing something really exciting that is close to my heart personally and my childhood, and hopefully a lot of your childhoods as well. We're going to be playing a really exciting module called Shadows of the Dragon Queen, which is based off of a beloved setting called Dragonlance, set in the world of Kryn. Many dozens of amazing novels have been written on the subject. If you find anything interesting about it, you should definitely check them out. Looks like the official number is upwards of 60 from what I'm seeing over there in the corner. But real quick, while we kind of work out some of the kinks, I just want to give a brief synopsis of what this particular adventure is about. There's going to be a lot of catching up to do as far as the story goes and the world goes, because this is not just your typical fantasy realm. There's a lot of nuances and subtleties. There are specific elements to the gods and goddesses, but you don't need to worry about any of that right now. You're going to catch up as the game goes along. So the world has ended, and it's ending again. 300 years ago, the cataclysm brought the world of Kryn to its knees. In a single day, an age of wonders came to an end. Countless innocents died, the face of the world was reshaped, and the gods themselves faded into legend. Through ages of struggle, the peoples of Kryn survived, but the world isn't what it was. Those nations that remain linger in the shadows of their ancestors' wonders. Only slowly have they begun to push back centuries of darkness and rediscover how the world has changed. Then came the dragon armies. Legions of soldiers devoted to the wicked goddess Takhisis, the Dragon Queen. And the world faces ruin once more. The War of the Lance has begun, and in a conflict between gods and dragons, a wounded world hangs in the balance. And it is on this backdrop that we find our players. And our players, of course, are these beautiful shining faces that you see sitting here at the table. To my right, we've got Chris, and he is playing a Kender who goes by the name of Crescendo for short. Kresh is he's a sneaky little dude. He's got some skills and abilities that typically lend themselves towards the roguish fashion, but he's got a few surprises up his sleeve. And I think that you're going to fall in love with him just as much as I have when I met him for the first time. To Chris's right, we've got John Wallace, and he is playing Sir Guppy Grimwolf, the first of his name, of House Grimwolf. And he'll be playing a fighter for now, but as is the way with Kryn and D&D in general, things change as we go along. To John's right, we've got Ryan, and he is going to be playing a mage, and that is going to be a mage eventually of the School of Abjuration. Am I right? That's right. Interesting note about mages on Kryn, they belong to one of three orders. We'll see which one Ryan chooses. To Ryan's right, we've got TJ, also known as Badger, lovingly by the rest of us, and he's going to be playing something that's very rare on the world of Kryn, which is a cleric. And it's rare because the gods left this world hundreds of years ago, so this is going to be a very centered character to this entire story. So keep an eye on this space.
Yeah, no pressure.
And with that being said, we're going to jump right into it. Our players find themselves on the continent of essentially Irgoth, which is in the northern part of Ansalon as a whole. So as you can see, there's a map there if you want to zoom in. You guys can take a look. Yeah, just over there to the, yep.
This area there.
Yeah, so basically what's happening here is...
They can see that.
What's that?
They can see that, but I don't even know.
Oh.
It's fine. They're just
Yeah.
looking at like the bottom.
Oh, they're looking at the bottom?
It's okay.
Yeah, there's a
Well-
small map on the side. If you guys look at the small map on the side, it's to the upper left side.
Yeah, that's right. Because we zoomed it in for you guys. Because we're all about ease of access here at Chronicles of the Coast. Just zoom right in. So they've had some adventures before in the past. Some things that kind of led them to the place where they are now, which is prison.
Wait, what?
Yeah, some things went badly for them in their past. They thought they'd come out on top as heroes. They found themselves in a situation where they were confronted with the bigotries of what should have been their allies. But unfortunately, these individuals were unwilling or unable to summon the courage to face the threat that is rising against them. And unfortunately, our heroes were looked at more as villains, and they were faced with charges of treason and worse. If it wasn't for the intervention of one Ispin Greenshield, who at first seemed like a very dubious lawyer and attorney at best, he was actually able to get them off on some pretty serious charges. And they have recently been granted, well, they're pretty close to being granted leave from their sentences. When each of you in turn, in fact, let me set the stage of the prison. It's kind of a big open rock quarry with steeped sides. And of course, at the very bottom is a pretty deep pool of water. As the mining continues down, the shafts are buried deep in the earth. And those of you like Guppy, yourself, Shep, and even you, Rose, from time to time, have had to take your turn at pulling the carts up the shaft. And then...
It's the only time we get to rest.
Yeah, it's the only time that you get to rest is on the backswing, actually. You can manage maybe 2 carts a day. Kresh, you have found yourself in a very interesting position indeed.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
Found the rhythm
Yeah,
of work.
the amount of times that they've actually taken a pickaxe away from you ranks pretty high up there.
I tried.
Damn it, that Kendra's got a pickaxe again. Somebody
He's
give him a
dancing
leg
around.
kick.
It's
Yeah.
like it's not a guitar, man.
Yeah, so you've actually found that you have quite a bit of freedom amongst
Whatever Kendra wants.
amongst this
He's got light duties where he goes around like
prison?
handing out books.
Yeah,
and, like,
exactly. Hand out books.
This is the real moral center of this prison right now.
He really is, yeah. And so, but you're also able to learn a lot. You're able to listen. And what you've kind of been able to pick up from the rumblings of this place is that all is not well in the east. Forces are marshaling. Sightings of strange creatures have been occurring. The Salamnic guards that do come to the prison, which there are very few of them, the nearby city of Kalaman has a standing militia, and oftentimes if there are guards or soldiers here at the prison, it's the militia of Kalaman that makes their way there to keep things in order. In the 3 years that you guys have been here, there's been very few riots. The prisoners are pretty well taken care of. You guys are well fed. You're not really abused unless you act out or do some crazy stuff. Guppy, that first year was real tough for you.
It wasn't me. It's not my fault.
Yeah.
I did not do this.
Looking at you, brother.
Yeah.
Looking at you.
But you guys are at your day's labors when each of you in turn is summoned by a nameless militiaman to the nearest guard outpost to the big pool of water, which is kind of like the beginning of the exit to the mine. If you're going to be leaving this place, this is like the only way to start going out, because from there it's just steeped walls as they go all the way up the quarry, and then eventually you find yourself on the outside, which you guys haven't seen in years.
So,
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
completely subterranean.
It's,
Is that what you just said?
No, it's like
no.
a light from the top of the
It's-
hole, right?
Just think of a giant hole, and it's like steeped like this, right?
Yeah.
And then there's like a pool in the center of it on this side, And then that's like where the water from the mines has sort of crept in and everything. And then they use that to sluice off, the ore and the other things that they don't need. And then there's a mine shaft that goes down from there. And down that mine shaft is a subterranean lair, which is where the three of you have spent the bulk of your time.
But we've seen the sun.
You've seen the sun. Right. The work happens down there, but the sleeping quarters and everything else is above the subterranean lair. But 12 hours a day, 10 to 12 hours a day, you guys are in the mine shaft. So you've been summoned from the depths during the middle of a workday, and it's a little alarming because I think you guys got like 7 sleeps and a wake up before it's time for you to actually be released from your sentence to begin with. So usually it's not a very good sign when you're kind of summoned to the guard post before it's time for you to be released. And actually it's you, Kresh, that is attending this unnamed militiaman. And as he sort of like brings you to your friends, he kind of just gestures to you and he's like, you know the way to the guard post. Make sure that they get there.
Oh, okay. Thanks, dude. Like, I'll see you around, man. Bye. Mm-hmm. Do I know his name?
You can ask him.
Well, I mean, I don't know him.
But you don't know him just by looking at him.
Yeah. Crush make friends everywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
You've never seen this particular militiaman
Bye, Fred. You're Fred, right?
Yeah, Fred.
All right. See you.
Weasley.
All right, dude. Bye.
Sorry. Anyway, and he goes off to kind of chat with some other groups, some other members of his militia, and leaves you to your companions.
Guys, we've been summoned.
Why are you always so cheerful? We're in a mine.
I got off the top bunk and like dangle my legs. It's like 5 rows of people up.
How are they looking? Like, I'm assuming I haven't had hard labor. I probably look the same.
Yeah, you look the same.
They're trying to do push-ups to get swole, but I'm so little.
Not an ounce of fat on them. Wiry.
Very skinny.
Yeah.
Long, stringy beard at this point.
Kind of gaunt. But hale. As I said, they are fed well.
Okay.
Water whenever you need it.
Comes right off the hole.
Yeah, right. Straight out that spring. Yeah.
12 hours of exercise, well-fed, water. That's all you need.
Yeah. It's actually a terrarium in the middle there, and they feed us the fish.
People pay for this kind of mineral-laced water. Arsenic doesn't just come for free.
Good to see this place hasn't broken all of you.
Yeah,
fantastic. Well, let's. So guess what?
Everybody's got great teeth.
We've been summoned.
What? Back to the mine hole to dig more?
I don't want to push the cart up.
No, somewhere cooler than that. Like a guard's post thing. Come on, follow me.
We're gonna be guards.
Grab your stuff.
Shindo life song. The only man I knew to go through prison and come out clean on the other side.
Looking so fat.
Fabio hair.
Yeah.
I guess we can still get executed. So long, Bob Bila and Shantae and Derek.
We hate you.
Especially you, Derek.
And
Where are you going? You still owe me 5 coin. You still owe me 5 coin.
I don't know how you got those down here, Derek.
Don't worry, Derek. We're not out of here for like 4 more days. You'll get your money.
And as you guys actually approach the guardhouse, you see that there's like a sort of a bustle of activity. And there's actually a couple Solamnic Knights that are sort of in attendance there, which, as I mentioned, is kind of a rare sight. I mean, you do see them, but it's more on like every few months at best that you see a contingent of Solamnic Knights come by just to kind of make sure that things are in order. This is the second time that you have seen Solamnic Knights just in this month alone. And it looks like there's a small company of them there. And you actually do recognize a familiar face wearing the armor of a Knight of the Crown. Is what can only be now known as Sir Nigel Dinsmore.
Oh, shit.
Former rival. Yeah. And upon seeing you all, he waves you over. This way. This way.
Hi, Sir Nigel.
Surprised you can lift your arms, brother.
You're looking great.
Greetings,
Got my
Crash.
bingo wings.
Greetings.
I used to have all this like muscle, and now it's just like flab, like
Yeah.
extra skin. hanging
No,
off.
it's tight, bro. It's tight, dude. There's no flab on you,
that's what she
bro.
said.
Yeah.
It's been years.
Hey.
The flap goes away, like,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the flab was gone in the first year,
Yeah.
dude.
The rats chewed it.
Yep.
off.
It's the Atkins mine.
Oh,
on
yeah.
Atkins
Pay
here.
money for this.
Good to go.
Now, just to refresh Dan's memory, Nigel is not the individual who was interested in following,
Correct.
No, he's
Yeah.
not. That was
and
Percival.
that's as intended. So Sir Nigel Dinsmore is wearing the armor of a Knight of the Crown. He's got the long flowing mustaches of a Knight of Salamnia with the helm and the horns. He's wielding a long sword, and he has a shield strapped to his back. But instead, from when you had seen him last, he seems to kind of be a little bit more jovial. He kind of has a little bit of a spring to his step. There's some small, like, smile wrinkles to the corners of his eyes. And those
Getting some?
yeah,
Is he like fatter?
Yeah, buddy.
I mean, I'd be cheery if I didn't spend the last like 5 years in prison.
Yeah.
I mean, sure.
Brothels and bars will do that to him.
Maybe he's winning more races
Well,
now that
maybe.
we're all in here.
Hey. Yeah, so those of you that are kind of paying attention, you notice his armor looks fit well. He doesn't seem to be overweight at all, and he seems to be communicating with these knights with an air of authority. He waves you over to the guardhouse and says, "Come inside. Come inside. It's been long since I have seen you, and we have much to discuss."
Do you want to shackle us? The traitors we were named? Should we be shackled before we enter a room with you?
Well, I don't think they come off, brother. I mean, they've been like welded on. this
Easy,
whole
Roger.
time.
Easy.
That was an unfortunate
We'll
business,
have our moment.
my friend Roge. May I call you Roge?
I don't know who you are. I haven't seen you in like.
Well, yeah, that's his name, but the friend part.
Were you in the courtroom?
Did they ever catch that?
Remind
sly
me
snake
again
Nico?
what we're in here for?
There were some charges that were levied against you all.
For
Treason, namely, among them.
why are you here?
Conspiracy. Well,
Yeah, we're almost out. We're
Look, I
gonna be
got
free in a
work
couple-
to do.
We
I got
remember.
5 more days.
I know.
I want to go home.
And I didn't expect for this
we
to
gotta
be
go
a
thank our
warm
friend Hesper.
welcome. In fact, it's Ispin that brings me here today. I have something for you all. And
Oh, is it his birthday?
It's
Oh my
been
God,
5
I
years in
forgot.
prison, and I'd like to go home.
I'm sorry.
They don't get to talk much in here, so we don't get visitors.
Well,
I
we only
think-
talk to each other, so we're really excited to talk to someone else, especially someone we don't like.
Wait, did you say food?
you may learn to like me. You don't know. See, I was a young man then, Roge, and I apologize
Yeah, we were all young.
for my actions.
That's 1 year. That's 2 year.
Perhaps in our future interactions, we may learn to trust each other, although I can understand why you do not now. But for the time being, I must admit that I am here on a somber occasion. In fact, I'll say no more. And he hands each of you a scroll in turn.
This isn't sealed.
It is, in fact, sealed with green wax, and
Oh, it's on the backside. Sorry.
on the seal is an image that you all had become quite familiar with during the course of your trial. And it is a standard knight's shield with the image of an oaken leaf, the sigil of your friend and attorney, Ispin Greenshield. The seals lie unbroken. I'm assuming each of you opens your missive. Opening the missives, each of you in turn.
Dear
You
Guppy, I still
see...
keep calling. She still ain't writing back.
Still ain't writing? You see a letter written in an archaic, ancient Salamnic hand, and it says, "Dear friend, I am Becklin Uthviharen. I've heard much about you from our mutual friend, Ispin Greenshield. It grieves me to share the news that our dear friend Ispin passed away peacefully here at his home in Vogler.
Quick pause.
Yeah,
It was Ispin's seal,
yeah,
but someone else is writing.
yeah.
Interesting. Go ahead.
Can we all read Solamnic?
I hope so.
Isn't it common?
It should be.
It's different.
It is different.
Common's different.
It's like a dialect, I guess you could say. So maybe you might be able to understand it to a certain extent.
It's a language choice.
Howdy, y'all.
Signifying
Sorry, y'all. I passed away in my sleep.
Draconic is...
Yeah,
Hold on, we haven't got to that.
I don't speak that anymore, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry I got interrupted.
Actually, I'm
continue,
assuming
please.
one of you is reading this, but I'm narrating. So
You gotta have the accent. Then,
I lost my
so that
ability
we
to
know
read
that it's in
after
Salamic.
I am.
First year.
May fortune and the old gods protect his soul. Ispin's friends are holding a memorial for him in the manner he always wanted. It will take place here in Vogler on the eve of the Kingfisher Festival. I write to you to ask you to do Ispin one last honor and attend.
No more festivals.
Should you come, accommodations will be made available at the Brass Crab. Though the circumstances are sad, I am eager to meet you and, through our memories, to revel in the life of our great friend. Signed, Becklin Uth Viharen, Knight of the Crown.
So they let people out of jail to go to funerals?
Nigel speaks up. Well, in this case, I was able to intercept the messages that were to be delivered to you at the Great Hall of Knights in Palantis. And by way of benediction, I lobbied on your behalf for an early release.
What's that even mean?
It means that, should you wish it, this very day, you will leave this tomb.
We're getting out of here, guys!
Holy fuck!
Like 4 days before we were going to leave anyways. You couldn't do this 2 years ago?
I know.
Well, he didn't die 2 years ago.
My
That's all it
excitement's a
took.
little reserved.
So it's not a pardon. It's an early release.
It is not a pardon, no. But
Yeah, because it's
perhaps,
time served.
perhaps within your release lies a path to a pardon.
Yeah. 4 days is not, I'm sorry.
It pales in comparison to the time you have spent here. No doubt. No doubt.
But we should respect our friend. He did help us while we were stuck in the mines.
Yeah, we could have all been
God, it's
executed.
not executed.
He brought me books and allowed me to study, I think. I would definitely attend.
Yeah.
Even though I'm done with festivals, since that's how we got here in the first place.
He helped all of
yes.
us over these past 5 years.
It was quite a party, was it not, Orosh?
Were you there?
Indeed.
Yeah, he was. Oh,
Yeah.
Indeed, I
Okay.
was.
He was
So you
there.
saw the truth of what happened. And yet still we remained in jail for 5 years.
It seems that in this case, the truth was relative.
Well, I mean, it wasn't my fault. Don't worry. I did everything we could.
Of course, Sir Guppy. You always do.
I say we get out and find Nico, but that's just me.
Ah, yes, Nico.
Revenge doesn't suit you, friend.
I said just find them.
Well, whatever the life song takes us, I
Leave
suppose.
it to Habakkuk to decide.
With all life, there is death.
I must say that that wily bastard was bound on a prison ship for the Isle of St. Christ.
On a ship?
Wait, you sent him to prison?
Indeed. We found out
For
that
what?
he was a betrayer.
Yeah.
And yet we're here? Who's Rabba?
One man's crimes does not erase the crimes of another.
But he was the primary
Primary
Witness.
witness
It
that
should've-
testified against us. But you know, with a good lawyer, we could have gotten off. That's what I always
Let's
say.
not beseech. Let's not beseech. Let's not talk ill of the dead.
We have a funeral for a lawyer to go to.
Listen, there are no retrials in Salamnia. We know this. It's the main rule of the law. There's no retrials in Salamnia. Only pardons. Now, let's get our pardon as soon as we get out of here, like we've been talking about this last 5 years.
Indeed.
That's
Once-
all you've been talking about for 5 years?
Every single
Every
day.
day.
And we're
I've
getting
been
really tired
I've
of
heard
it.
it every
I'm talking
day.
about other stuff. But okay.
Yeah, well, you know, you have to keep your mind hard, you know, when you're in prison and you're actually doing hard labor, Crash.
Hey, man, I try.
Who else would have brought us pancakes?
He basically had whatever he wanted to have all the time. It's like he wasn't
I play
here.
music, and everybody slams their pickaxes really hard when I hit the notes, okay?
I thought it was a drum. Just,
No, it's not a drum.
And as you
Let me keep
guys
my ocarina.
oh shoot! Yes, I forgot.
As you guys
Sorry.
are talking, you do see the bustle of the knights kind of coming in and out of the guard post. You're sort of catching in the background orders that are being given to organize some of the members of the militia and redistribute the forces this way and that way. There's a lot of bustle and activity that is occurring around you, and there's actually quite a few more knights than you originally took note of when you first arrived. Nigel sort of ushers you guys over to a...
They're gonna break our chains, right?
You're not chained. There's no escaping this.
I look at this, it's just like, I've been holding like these chain cuffs on the whole time, they weren't even attached.
Those would have helped you carry the cart up. No wonder you had such a hard time.
Oh, you're supposed to pull?
If you would have been born to the pit, you would have known.
Oh, God.
You're mine!
They're like, yeah, you can run anytime you want, there's nothing out there.
Right. There's only one elevator out of this mine.
Exactly.
Straight down to hell.
Caged bird still sees the sky.
Oh.
And so you
Sings a
do,
happy
Shep.
song.
You do see the sky. And for the first time in several years, it seems that it might be filled with a little bit of hope as you are actually able to contemplate leaving this place. Nigel, without a whole lot of fanfare and ceremony, brings you each quite a sight for sore eyes. It's your personal accoutrement, your pack, your for you, Guppy, he brings you your armor, your weapons.
I look at it and the Salamia sign has been scratched off on it.
Indeed, it has. It's been defaced. Although it seems to be functional still. And Kresh, your items are brought to you, your armor,
A shiny breastplate.
your shiny breastplate.
Oh, baby. Oh,
Yeah. And Kresh, as you go through your items, everything seems to be there, everything seems to be in order, except for one curious addition that you don't remember having in there. And it's an acorn about the size of your fist, seemingly made from glass. Some of it opaque, some of it see-through in certain areas. It seems to be multifaceted. And
when you say multifaceted, it's got lots of facets?
yeah, as if intentionally made that way. It doesn't appear to be a gem,
Like something that's manipulatable?
potentially.
What did you steal, Kender?
Never seen this before.
That's what you say about everything you acquire.
Roche,
Do I know what this is
from
from what we talked about?
yeah, you recognize it.
Okay.
It just wasn't there before.
Maybe it's got liquor in it.
Roche, you are brought your staff, and it all seems to be perfectly intact, not a scuff or mark on it. Yeah, it smells new like the day that it was
Fresh
given to you.
lacquer.
Yeah,
I love the smell of wood.
and in your pack are some neatly folded robes of whichever color you decide to tell me they are. And
Black now.
You earned this one.
yeah,
Burn the world! Oh, they're still white. Still good-hearted. Just angry.
fresh white linen, pristine, like the freshly dropped snow, is neatly folded, along with a sort of like a golden sash, like a belt that you can kind of tie it up with. And,
Sash.
Yeah, a nice little sash. And you know, I don't recall if you use spell components or not. I think you may have some.
I had a spell focus, and that was my staff.
That was your staff.
I casted most of my spells from my staff, so taking away my staff reduced my spellcasting abilities in the mind.
Indeed. And so you now once more feel whole, but diminished. You know, going over some of the magic that you maybe have had access to in the past in your mind, the lack of real practice during your time in the mines has dulled your abilities some. Shep, your very humble robes and what were essentially rags are in the pack, as well as a hooded lantern that still remains with your items. It seems to have lost a bit of its luster. The glass is sort of smoke covered and blackened. It seems to be a bit scuffed up and dinged, but on the whole, it still exists in the form that you had left it. It seems to be bereft of that inner shine that it once held during your time fighting against some of the foes that you had come across. And with that, and with very little fanfare, unless you guys have any reason to linger.
Did we reacquire some of the things that we had found in the temple? Like the dust, the dust of drying, we reacquired those assets?
Yeah, anything that's not like a sort of like a story item, like of course the starfish piece and some of that other stuff. But yeah, the dust of dryness, you guys do have that.
All of our evidence came back somehow.
Yeah, unfortunately, none of the evidence remains, but
story items.
you guys, some of you should have had some coins, I believe, and whatever was on your character sheet is what is left to you. So if it's nothing, then
Did
it's...
you by chance not erase all that steel that was supposed to be paid? Please tell me you didn't erase that yet.
I wish.
I'm
right?
assuming
The
that
steel
was
was paid.
taken
out.
from
It was
us.
all paid
The
out.
steel was paid, but you guys, if I recall correctly, you guys did pay yourselves a sum.
It was only like 30 apiece for the two of us.
Yeah,
Right,
it was a
because
fair price.
Everybody else donated their steel.
Yeah. So, you guys have that money. None of your items were taken from you. None of it was confiscated. The knights are honorable. The majority of the knights are honorable. The militia members of Kalaman are also indeed honorable. In fact, you found some of them to be more honorable than some of the knights that you dealt with, because their rigid code of honor isn't as... it doesn't hold people back from doing the right thing the way that it seemed to among the Knights of Salamnia. And with that, you guys are basically loaded into the back of a wagon, as well as accompanied by a rather large contingent of knights. It looks like there's about 20 cavalry and 10 foot soldiers, which is like the most knights you guys have ever seen at this prison before.
They look like they're here for us? Or at least to escort us?
No, they do not look like they are your escorts.
I mean, okay. I'd like to take a real long think about why there are so many soldiers in that prison. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Or is this like an important infrastructure part? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Are they like on edge? Are they waiting for an attack?
Yeah, so, Kresh, your little brain starts whirring, right? And you start seeing...
It's Germans.
Yeah, you start seeing things.
Real hard.
You look at the maker's mark on the swords of the knights, and you remember during one of your deliveries seeing a blacksmith who had that maker's mark as a tool in their shed, and they were forging weapons.
Yep.
You look at the armor, and you see that it's all cut from the same cast.
Yep.
You look at the barding on the horses. You look at the wagons, and they actually look like the same wagons that some of the farriers, or not farriers, yeah, that's who makes wagons? Is that? Anyways, it's all looking like mass produced, and you're starting to see some of the evidence of maybe what you guys have been doing down here on the bodies of these knights and some of this ore that you've been mining.
Yeah.
And it kind of clicks in your brain like, whoa, you know, what are we doing down here? Like, this seems like something a little bit bigger than...
Is it steel we've been mining?
Well, you've been mining the
iron
components to steel.
Yeah.
You know, iron ore, I think, like coke is a necessary part of making steel.
That's just to get the heat up. But, yeah.
Just to get the heat up.
Carbon. And
Carbon and iron.
Yeah, and so, you guys have definitely been mining the necessary components to make well-made steel.
But why today? Why aren't they always here then? If this place is so crucial.
Yeah.
Today.
You also notice that they seem
released.
well-provisioned.
They're gonna hang out here.
The knights do. They seem well-provisioned.
Did they bring tents?
That's kind of, it's
Gosh,
tough for
stop
you to
moving.
really
I'm trying
say.
to put this breastplate.
Yeah. You don't, beyond what may be in someone's individual pack or rucksack or something like that, you don't see like big pavilion tents or anything like that.
Right. Well, because there's like 30 of them, right? So
Yeah.
you're gonna need a big ass fucking barracks to
Yeah.
Okay. But I don't see that.
You are a kender, you've journeyed and traveled. It looks like they're provisioned for the road.
Okay. Roger that.
Yeah.
Tells me what I need to know. Thank you.
You guys are loaded up into the wagon, and within about 30 or 45 minutes, with the brisk clipping pace of the knights' well-trained war horses as escort, you guys are actually able to make it up and out of the stepped walls of the mines themselves and into the open sunlight. The open sort of rocky plain stretches out before you, and Nigel comes up to you and he says, my friends, this is where we will part ways. If you but follow the Vingard River, you will come to your destination, that being the town of Vogler. Follow the Vingard River east, and you will find your destination. As for us, we will be heading south. And may Paladine be with you in these dark times.
Thanks, Nigel.
Why south, Nigel?
Yes, well, there are, as you may have heard, dark rumors of...
We've been in a hole!
man!
I speak facetiously, my friends, because...
Tink, tink, tink.
As
that's
I
all I've
know.
heard.
As I know, and it shames me to admit this, you may have been right.
What were we in jail for again?
It seems that your sentence was an injustice. And while I cannot offer you a pardon, I cannot clear your names, or even beseech those who can. I can offer my alliance to you in a dark time. I can offer my friendship, and I can offer my honor.
One more question, friend, before you depart. How fares House Grimwolf and our father and mother?
They are well.
Damn it. I don't want to know anymore. I don't care.
I can. Whatever did happen to young Percival?
Young Percival has become an acolyte of your friend Padre. They both serve at the behest of the Church of Habakkuk. In fact, a schism has occurred there. A split among the ranks. Those who now believe that the true gods have returned, although without much evidence, I must admit.
Well,
and those...
They have, but...
So your friends say.
So you go to war with...
We do not yet know who we go to war with.
Yes, you do. You saw them.
It's okay.
What did we see? We do not yet know.
The dragon people, man. Are you crazy?
There are rumors.
Oh my God.
Wait, so you haven't actually
Wait,
seen
4 years later, and you
Time.
guys are still denying what we saw?
Time will show.
As well as everyone else in that tavern that saw them.
There was a withdrawing of the dark forces after this incident. They overplayed their hand by a great deal. And since then, there are those of us who have come to understand the true threat and have sought information, but they have dug deep in their holes. Perhaps you will find some evidence of these creatures. Perhaps you can redeem your names after all.
If you face them, just remember, sometimes they explode, and they explode acid all over people.
No.
You don't want to be within like a 10, maybe 5-foot radius. And then also, there's different types, different colors do different things. And then the last thing I want to tell you is that they all turn to stone and break into pieces when they die. So if you ever see one that's laying on the ground and it's still whole, he's probably faking it.
I understand. They all turn into stone and then explode into pieces of acid when they die.
So remember, slash, not pierce.
Yes.
Slash, not
pierce.
Slash, not pierce.
Good luck.
Good luck.
This is words of wisdom. I know it to be true.
That's good that you believe us now. I mean, 5 years.
Listen.
Thank you for eating crow.
We'll have time. We'll have time to prove that we were innocent the whole time. You know, that we didn't do anything wrong at all. And third, do we get to use the wagon, or are you guys taking the wagon?
The remainder of your journey will be on foot, my friend, unfortunately.
Fudge.
Yes.
Technically, we did ask the seals for help. I mean, that we did do that.
To save a bunch of
Oh,
spoiled brats.
Oh, of course. Oh, well, not just the brats, but to save the city and hopefully create a relationship of trade and safety and peace
And trust.
and trust. All noble things. But yeah, we did do that one, which was also illegal. So
Yeah.
technically,
And I also said that I was a knight, which I'm not.
That was a crime indeed. That was a crime indeed. That is, you are
Yeah, I'm
lucky
glad
you
I
did
didn't
not
get
hang for
beheaded.
that.
I've got both my hands still.
Yes, you are lucky you did not die for that. I required many sponsorships to become a knight. And unfortunately,
From the great Lord Nahi and the other Lord Odidas.
He's insulting you. I'm sorry. we've had a long day. But okay, bye.
if by day you mean 5 years, Kender, yeah, it's been a long freaking day.
I will take my leave of you.
Hey, good luck.
Stupid knights.
Indeed. Should you ever need the help of Sir Nigel, you may send word. And
Where are you guys staying again in the south? Wait, is that need-to-know basis?
we
other
march to
tin can
Salantis.
turtles.
Salanthus?
Yes. Send word there, and a missive will be delivered to me.
Thank you.
Indeed. And with that, he goes riding off back to the company of his knights, and he says, "So quick, I have information from you." And as his as his voice is like fading, you hear him say, "When we find these creatures, we must slash, not stab."
Yes.
And the sort of the sound of his voice fades
I hope there's not laughing.
off into the distance. No, these knights are all very stoic and very serious, and
Let
they
them
are
laugh, my noble friend.
yeah, they are listening very intently as they go riding off, the sun glinting off their armor. They really strike quite a noble image as their forces march south.
I'm waving goodbye, and I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm just going to go ahead and shoulder my pack, grab my staff, and say, I'm tired of riding in carts anyway.
See you guys later.
Heading off
Boy,
down
those
the road.
knights are so noble.
And we'd look
and
pretty
great.
badass walking into the sunset, too.
I sure love the night.
Sunrise, whatever time of day it is.
Listen, real quick. We don't really have any proof that our thing has been ended early, our sentencing. So
Wait,
we should probably be on the DL when we go back to the city.
We
for
got-
at least 4 days.
we got letters, right?
We only got letters to go to a funeral.
No. We got release letters, right? From whoever's in charge.
Check your bags.
Because I'm the one that can read Salamic. What's it say there, boss?
There are letters of release.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Good call, brother.
That'd be effed up.
Good looking out.
That was a good moment. Wait a second. Did we just get prison broke?
Yup. How hilarious would it have been? They did this on purpose to us 4 days before we're supposed to be released.
With a whole,
I was like,
Most polite
the whole
prison break
battalion of-
ever.
Yeah.
I mean, were they going to say no?
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. The guards are probably just like, trained regular dudes, yeah, sure.
Back to prison, heathens.
Okay. Phew.
And with that, I think what we're going to do is cool our heels for just a quick second. We're going to take a 5-minute break as we kind of wet our whistles and have a quick conversation, and we will be right back.
Gonna have to switch